So hello everyone again, this is lecture 2 part 3 of semiconductor electronics materials devices and simple circuits. In this part of the lecture 2 we will start with the intrinsic semiconductors and then we can move forward with the extrinsic semiconductors. So let us not waste any time, I am Sameer Lavankar, let us begin our discussion. Okay, so the course outline for you, we started with the introduction of the semiconductors in which we understood vacuum tubes, the basic history of the semiconductors, and right now we are using very small chips which are of the order of nanometers. So what was the complete history, why was being utilized, what was the computational efficiency of your previous semiconductors, vacuum tubes basically, and now what is the efficiency. Then next is we started with the classification of metals, semiconductors, conductors and insulators, in which we understood the different types of classification happening. We understood the concept of conduction band, valence band. We understood the concept of band theory of solids, in which there were 4 different regions, as in how the different energy states are occurring and the valence electrons are being kept into it. Now let us start today with the new concept, that is intrinsic semiconductors. Okay, so please be very careful while understanding these concepts, may be tricky but very useful for the subsequent concept which we will be understanding in the subsequent slides. Okay, so intrinsic semiconductors. Okay, so let me first start, then I will try to make you understand what does basically intrinsic mean and what does extrinsic means. Okay, so we shall take the most common case of silicon and germanium whose lattice structure is shown in the figure. So basically this is one of the lattice structures of silicon or germanium, as the name as it is having 4 electrons, as you can see that each of these, if I explain to you correctly. Okay, so if you look toward this electron here, as you can see this is having 1, this is 2, this is 3 and this is 4. So it is residing by 4 different electrons. Okay, so this thing has been explained. Next thing is, these structures are called the diamond like structures. As you can see that the supposedly, even if it can't be observed in this structure, if you google it or you can see directly, then silicon and germanium are supposedly having diamond like structures. Okay, okay. Next thing is, each atom is surrounded by 4 nearest neighbors. So I just explained to you that there were 4 different electrons residing. So let us say if I explain to you for this electron here only, so it's 1, it's 2, then it's 3 and this is 4. Okay, so there were 4 different valence electrons or surrounding electrons to that particular atom, 4 different atoms for that particular atom. Okay, so we know that silicon and germanium have 4 valence electrons. So this has already been explained in the previous chemistry part of this lecture only. So we know that silicon and germanium have 4 valence electrons. In its crystalline structure, every silicon or germanium atom tends to share one of its 4 valence electrons with each of its 4 nearest neighbor atoms, and also to take share of 1 electron from each such neighbor. So basically, how is this complete what we can say, what complete structure is being made? So basically, let us say this is one of the atom, right? It is having 4 different atoms surrounding it. Every of these different 4 atoms will also have 4 other neighboring atoms surrounding it. One will be of course the previous part only, so other 3 will be surrounding it. So basically each of this atom will be surrounding 4, or also we can say that they also take share of 1 electron from each such neighbor. Okay, so there will be share of 1 electron from each such neighbor. Okay, so as it is sharing is done for each of these, therefore the complete thing is neutral. Okay, so these shared electron pairs are referred to as forming a covalent bond or simply a valence bond. Okay, so this bond is nothing but called as your covalent bonds. Okay, the 2 shared electrons can be assumed to shuttle back and forth between the associated atoms, holding them together strongly. Okay, the 2 shared electrons can be assumed to shuttle. So basically sometime the electron is here, sometimes the electron goes here, it again goes here and again goes here. So it basically shuttle up back and forth. Okay, so the 2 shared electrons can be assumed to shuttle back and forth between the associated atoms, holding them together strongly. Below figure schematically shows the 2-dimensional representation of silicon or germanium structure shown in the above figure, which overemphasizes the covalent bond. So basically this is how we can say this is a 2-dimensional 2D representation of silicon or germanium crystals. So what does +4 say? So basically +4 is saying that that is your silicon atom, right. These electrons say basically that okay, so there is a covalent bond here, there is a covalent bond here, and these covalent bonds have residing electrons, bonding electrons. So basically this electron can go from here to here, this electron can even go from here to here, depending upon the energy excitation. This energy excitation will be understood and will be explained to you in the subsequent points. Okay. So till now what you understood is basically that this is the silicon crystal, this is also silicon crystal, covalent bonds are residing for this, and these are the electrons which are residing on or let us say on the covalent bonds only. So basically electrons would be residing in the covalent bonds, electrons would be residing in the outermost orbit only, but those are so much free that they can go from one place to another, or basically there is sharing of electrons between these two neighboring atoms. So that is how we are trying to understand this complete representation of 2D structure. Okay. Fine, let us move forward. Then below figure schematically, so this thing has been explained. It shows an idealized picture in which no bonds are broken, all bonds are intact. As you can see, there is no bond broken here. So the situation arises at low temperature. So basically at low temperature, this is how the silicon or germanium crystal may look like. Please remember, it is a 2D representation. So what we can say, so basically if we cut a simple slice from this only for a very large area, then this is how the structure can be visible. Okay. Fine. So this has also been explained. Next thing is, as the temperature increases, more thermal energy becomes available to these electrons, and some of these electrons may break away, becoming free electrons, contributing to conduction. Okay. So basically what happens is, let us say I excite the energy here. If energy is excited, so these electrons become free electrons. Free electrons as in this may be residing anywhere, this here, 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 residing anywhere. Okay. Now please understand the next concept very carefully, because this is the basic crux of the complete semiconductor electronics. Okay. So first of all, what I explained till now is ki we had a electron here, because of thermal excitation it removed from this place and is now a free electron. Okay. Fine. So till this we are clear. Now the thermal energy effectively ionizes only a few atoms in the crystalline lattice and creates a vacancy in the bond as shown in the figure A. So as you can see, because of the electron not residing here, there is a vacancy here. Vacancy as in there is a hole here. Vacancy as in there is a vacant space there, right? Okay. The neighborhood from which the free electron has come out leaves a vacancy with an effective charge plus q, quite evident. So basically there was a minus charge here, and now because there is no, because that electron has been removed out, the amount of charge virtually we can say that it is having plus q now. Fine. Okay, fine. So this thing has also been explained. So this vacancy with the effective positive electron charge is called as a hole. So please remember this concept. This is very important concept for the complete semiconductor electronics. So basically what happens is that there was an electron residing in the covalent bond. Now what happens is, due to the thermal excitation of energy, this electron after thermal excitation was removed from that covalent bond. After its removal, that electron became a free electron, but that space which was being remained, or from which this was being ejected in the first place, so basically electron has a charge of minus q. If we are having a deficiency of minus q from some place, that means now the charge of that place is plus q, because if this plus q and minus q would have occurred, then that thing would have become completely neutral, right. That is why what we can say is that this vacant space has a charge of plus q, and in semiconductor definition or semiconductor devices definition, we call this vacant space as a hole. Okay. So that is the complete crux of everything which I tried to explain you till now. Okay. So in all, what is brief, so some sort of thermal excitation was being done, due to which an energy vacant space was being created. That vacant space is called as a hole. Okay. Fine. So this thing has also been explained. The hole behaves as an apparent free particle with effective positive charge. So I explained. So basically there is plus q here, therefore this is having a positive charge here. Okay. In intrinsic semiconductors, the number of free electrons Ne is equal to the number of holes, quite evident. So basically this, let us say this also get excited, therefore the number of electrons which are excited is 2, and the number of holes created are also 2. Therefore what you can say is that Ne is equal to number of holes. What is Ne? Ne is the number of free electrons and Nh is number of holes. Okay, so we can say that Ne is equal to Nh is equal to Ni. What is Ni? Ni is nothing but intrinsic carrier concentration. What is the use of this intrinsic carrier concentration? We will try to look forward. For now, just keep your understanding till this part only, that the number of free electron in intrinsic semiconductors, the number of free electrons is equal to the number of holes. Okay. Fine, and also this is equal to Ni, where Ni is the intrinsic carrier concentration. Okay. Semiconductors possess the unique property in which apart from electrons the hole also move. Okay, so this is one of the basic agenda of the complete semiconductor concept which we are trying to understand, which we will try to understand in subsequent slides. Okay, so basically what happens is not even these holes, not even these electrons move, these holes also move from one place to another. How will they move? How? What is the basic agenda we are trying to make you understand? I will try to make you understand in subsequent slides, but for now just understand this topic is that the conduction of electricity can be occurred due to the movement of electrons also and the movement of holes also. What are these holes? These holes are created when there is a thermal excitation of the electrons from a, let us say, from a covalent bond. Okay, so that vacant space created is called as a hole. Fine. Let us move forward then. Okay. Now suppose that there is a hole at site 1 as shown in the figure A. So please look over to this figure A only for now. So suppose there is a hole at site 1 as shown in the figure A. The movement of hole can be visualized as shown in the figure B. So now what they are trying to say is, let us say that there was a thermal excitation due to which there was a hole created here, right. Now what happens is, let us say that this electron tries to move at this location here. Then if it tries to move at this location, then there is an electron residing here, but there will be a hole created here. So let us say we are viewing as a view 1, let us say there is a person 1 and there is a person 2, right. Person 1 always see the movement of electrons only, person 2 always sees the movement of holes only. So if person 1 see the movement, then what does it say is that there was an electron here residing first, or let us say for this movement only, there was an electron residing here, now the electron has been moved here. So this is the movement of your hole, sorry, this is the movement of an electron. Another person would have said that yes, okay, so there was a hole residing here, now the hole has moved to this position. Okay, so it's just the visuality of how you observe things. Okay, one person can say that there is a movement of electron, one person can say there is a movement of holes. For now, as there is the amount of holes and amount of electrons are same, we can say this, but as we progress toward this topic, we can understand this concept that the amount of holes can be higher than or even lower than these electrons also. So we will look over to that topic in the subsequent classes. For now, what we understood is there can be movement of holes also, there can be movement of electrons also. Okay, fine then. So this thing has been explained. Okay. So suppose there is a hole at site 1 as shown in the figure A, the movement of holes can be visualized as shown in the figure B. An electron from the covalent bond at site 2 may jump to the vacant site 1. Fine. An electron from the covalent bond at site 2, so basically this is your site 2, may jump to the vacant site, so basically it has jumped to the vacant site hole. Thus after such a jump, the hole is at site 2, so quite evident. So now the hole is at site 2 and the site 1 has now an electron. Okay, very easy, not very typical things. So let me just move forward from these points. Therefore apparently the hole has moved from site 1 to site 2. So basically the visualization of person 2 has been explained here. Okay. Note that the electron originally set free is not involved in the process of hole motion. Yeah. So basically what they are trying to say is that this electron has nothing to do with the movement of the hole here. Note that the electron originally set free is not involved in the process of hole motion, because hole motion is only and only due to the electron residing in site 2. Okay. The free electron moves completely independent as conduction electron and gives rise to an electric current IE under an applied electric field. So if there is an applied electric field, then there will be a conduction of electricity due to this free moving electron. Okay. The amount of current produced is nothing but IE here. Okay. The motion of hole is only a convenient way of describing the actual motion of bound electrons whenever there is an empty bond anywhere in the crystal. Okay. So just they are just trying to say that the amount that the electricity conduction can also be explained by the concept of movement of electrons, and can also be explained by the conduction or the movement of holes also. So, that thing is only been explained here. So, the motion of hole is only a convenient way of describing the actual motion of bound electrons whenever there is an empty bond anywhere in the crystal. So, because there is an empty hole, that means it is quite evident that there will be an empty electron. Sorry, not an empty electron, there will be a free electron. Sorry, there will be a free electron residing somewhere in the conduction band. Obviously, that will be a conduction electron. Okay. So, that thing is explained. Next thing is under the action of an okay. So, this thing is explained. Next thing is under the action of an electric field, these holes move towards negative potential, giving the hole current IH. Okay. So, now be very clear. Okay. So, let me just write everything so that it becomes much more clearer. There is a current called as IE, there is a current called as IH. So, this current is due to free electrons. Right. We can also call this as electron current. Right. There is a current due to holes also. That current is called as hole current. How it is being produced, I will try to explain to you in subsequent classes, but for now please try to understand, we are trying to understand two different topics. One is the number of number of electrons is equal to number of holes is equal to Ni, that is concentration concept, and another concept is that the electron current and the hole current. Okay. So, under the action of an electric field, these holes move towards negative potential, giving the hole current IH. So, basically when this hole move towards the negative potential, then hole current is also being observed there. Okay. The total current I is thus the sum of electron current IE and the hole current IH. Okay. So, basically there are two different things observed here, that the total current will be due to two different two different currents. One will be due to electron current and another will be due to hole current. What is this hole current? This may be not be very much easier to understand at this point. For now, you can just understand it as a topic. I will try to make you understand much more clearly in the subsequent slides. Okay. So, final conclusion of this is that I is equal to IE plus IH, and next thing is that NE is equal to NH equal to NI. Okay. So, let me stop the concepts of intrinsic semiconductors here only. In the next topic, I will move further with this concept. Okay. So, thank you so much.